U.S. carburation. Look, are we starting over?
Do it.
Hi, it's the Human Show. I'm Dr. Hugh, and the doctor is in. I'm glad you could join us. As you know, we are live on Facebook and YouTube, hopefully. That's our goal, and a lot of times we do achieve that goal. But as you know, we're the manufacturer, or if you didn't know, we are the manufacturer, patent owner of Motor Snorkel, the most revolutionary carburation device ever invented in West Virginia. And so it helps you to use a gasoline generator on propane natural gas, but we're so locked in a generator. Wood splitters, pressure washers, the three biggies. You can use the same tank on all three. So carburation is our business, and our business today is answering your questions about anything related to carburation. That can be installation or troubleshooting, and it's mainly designed for you to ask let your friends know we're on it every week, Tuesday, Thursday at 2 o'clock. She's what? Oh, I need an earpiece. Oh, what's going on? Oh, breaking news. Yes, we're not even broadcasting. That'd be kind of neat. Hey, before I move on to questions, customer mail, if we have any, you might be wondering what this is in front of me. Isn't that neat looking? I should just let's see if someone knows what that is before I tell them what. Oh, wait. Let me play that to the camera. I can't. Where's the camera? Oh, it's over there. Hey. Yeah, let me play that to the camera. See that? If you can tell me what that is, I'll send you an engine tachometer for free. Somebody out there knows if they. But I'm going to tell you why that's there later on. So don't let me forget. Sucker's heavy too. It weighs, I'd say 10 pounds. All right, so we're on to either answering questions or customer mail. So do we have any of that other than customer mail?
No questions yet.
No questions. I'm still waiting for the one is, why are you still on the air? Waiting for that one. But I guess instead of asking that, you just don't tune in. I don't know how that works, but anyway. All right, here we are. Question one. Question one. Question one.
Go ahead, just read it.
I'm just going to read this question because it may be more intriguing that way. Do you have a kit for my generator? I love this one. The answer is yes, if it's a 4-cycle gasoline engine on your generator. Now, we did have a customer call this week, ordered a kit for his brand of generator, and my producer opted for us not to mention the brand. But they told him, no, you cannot make that thing run on propane or natural gas. And so he was sending it back, which is kind of sad for a manufacturer or dealer. I mean, they get a generator back for no good reason. Any 4-cycle gasoline engine that's of any good quality can be, Snorkel can be added to have it run on propane and natural gas and gasoline. So that was debunking the junk, we used to call it, because it's just bogus. It's so easy for people to say no. You know what I mean? It's so easy. It's hard for them to say yes because that means they know something. So no, you can get away with it. So anyway, yes, we have a kit for your generator. Now, you can even order kits from us with no number. We'll tell you what kit it is if you want. The only difference is some kits are 2-barrel if you have a very large machine, but typically you know what machine you have. If you have one that large, it has a 2-barrel carburetor. All right, question 2. Am I going to be intriguingly reading that one too?
No, I got it.
Ah, cool. How long can I run a tank 20-pound barbecue grill cylinder? All right, that's cute. Well, it depends. Depends on the grill cylinder. 20-pound cylinders, if you get them from the rack, they're 15-pound cylinders, which is around 3 gallons. So you lose a gallon. But if you have a full 20-pound cylinder, 4.7 gallons, it's like 5 gallons of gasoline, like you'd fill a 5-gallon can. So using that logic, and the BTU content's so close, it's always worked out. Whatever you use on gasoline is what you're going to use on propane. However, there's some caveats to it, but by and large, it's kind of like a car. They put the sticker on the window, never matches, but it's within reason. And a lot of it has to do with the size of the generator. A 12 horsepower generator on a 20-pound cylinder is not going to run as long as a 5 or 6 horse. So it depends on size of the generator, how much fuel is actually in the 20-pound cylinder. But our simplest response to people is apples to apples. If it's manufacturer says it's going to run 10 hours on 5 gallons of gasoline, it's going to run at least 10 hours on a full 20-pound cylinder. There you go. What's great is no carbon monoxide. What is the difference between motor snorkel and a classic adapter block? All right, I'm glad you asked that. In a standard carburetor, hey, do we want to go back to our side camera? I like that, it was kind of fun. Can you switch to that? Hey, I like that. All right, on the standard, I have to get used to that because I think it's backwards. Let me see. Oh, it's delayed, that's what it is. All right, so on the standard gasoline carburetor, move the air filter. To add the classic adapter, you're adding 1.25 inches of thickness between the carburetor and the air filter. Well, that shifts everything out. So you have to add stud extenders to extend the studs. There's a crankcase vent oftentimes. You have to extend that crankcase vent. Sometimes you have to cut the frame. And the new generators, almost every time you have to cut the frame. And that's what really sparked the invention of motor snorkel, was there has to be a better way to introduce fuel to this carburetor without this big hunk of aluminum and doing all that work. And that's where motor snorkel came along, and it was just a matter of pulling your filter off and adding the motor snorkel to the carburetor. Okay, that's all it was. And so once you do that, it's ready to go. Boy, that thing is really goofy. So anyway, that's all it was. Just add that little thin motor snorkel, and it's no stud extenders, no cutting, no nothing. Just put it back together. It's ready to run on alternative fuel. So that is the difference, because the fuel comes through the gasket. And so it's delivered in that way to the Venturi. And it's amazing how sweet it works. We are so proud of that product. All righty then. Still no questions, huh? Nothing yet. All right. How long do we wait? Nobody figured this thing out yet, so they can get a free. Hey, did we want to ask them? Anybody else had any? Anybody else had any ideas about a tool that keeps working even when you're not using it? We had the compass and the ruler and the clock, the level. We're going to give a free tachometer away with that also. And so next week, we're going to be doing the demonstration, try to get it done this week, showing limits of flammability, which really helps people understand why they may have an issue with the machine running or not running. Because there are limits of flammability. Just because you have fuel, spark, and air, which are the 3 ingredients of the triangle, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a boom. So we're going to explain that next week.
You want to show the tube?
The tube. What's that?
The tube that you're going to fill up with propane.
No. I want it to be a secret.
Okay.
All right. But
we do have a guess on the tools that keep working even when you're not.
Oh boy, I hope he knows we've had. Go ahead.
This is John.
Hey, John.
by Facebook. He says magnet.
Let's see. You know what's funny about magnets, John, is I deal with them all day long. We're actually working on a brand new secret product. It's going to be released when, Brian? When are we going to release that secret product we're working on? And it's based on
First quarter of this year.
first quarter of this year. You know. But anyway, in doing the R&D work, which is what I do here as the product design engineer, you deal with magnets and different magnets. You cannot work around those suckers with immunity. I mean, I've gone home with them stuck to parts of my body I didn't want them stuck because they just find their way, which, you know what? I really appreciate that one. That wasn't on my list, but those suckers will work even when you don't need them to work. So thank you very much. John, send us your info at uscarb.com, and we will get you out an engine tachometer. Where is it? Yeah. A $39 value, free. I appreciate you thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even think about a magnet, but yeah, it is a tool. Magnets are very useful. Man, steel plants couldn't move steel without magnets. So, but I'm glad you didn't say electromagnet, because then I would have said no. But a magnet, yes, very good. Hey, I appreciate that. We'll add that to the list. All right. What else do I have to say about that? Remember, we're always actively looking for new dealers, and you'd be amazed. We get guys that say, I'll try a kit, and boom, they order a dozen. And so there are some industries out there that can really benefit from using motor snorkel. Just wanted to let you know that. We'll set you up with literature and whatever you may need. We do what we can to help you out. We're also looking for guests for the show, anyone who has any specialty knowledge that might enhance the show, maybe especially new dealers that come on and get a few sales under their belt and want to tell us about them. It'd be great to interview them if they can do Skype or whatever that stuff is. That'd be great. So now on to my little device here. Nobody's figured it out yet. This is, oh man, that sucker is heavy. This is a sight gauge for filling propane, stationary propane tanks like at a bulk yard. So what happens is, like on a railroad car, you'll hook up, the liquid propane passes through here, and this little flap opens. And see, when you're watching this as an employee, you're filling the 30,000 gallon bulk tanks off your bobtail, off your transport, which I used to do. And so you watch for this flap. Well, when it's moving like that, liquid is going through there. And sometimes you can see cavitation from the propane, but typically that's when it's near the end or something. But when you see it acting like that, you have a good flow of propane filling your 30,000 gallon tank. And what's really cool about this? I saw the biggest frog ever pass through this sucker. So there's a frog that went, wherever I went and filled up my 10,000 gallon transport, hauled it over to the bulk plant, hooked it up and pumped it out. No, that one came off a railroad car. I have to take that back. We used to have 30,000 gallon railroad cars. So if you ever see those railroad cars going down train tracks with the placard 1075, you know that they're propane. But yeah, so when it's done, flapper's down. Now, why am I telling you this? I plan on making a live burning demonstration of propane as a prop for the show. So every time you see the show, I'm going to get the fittings and the device and the controls, and we'll light that thing, and it'll just burn as our little prop on the show. Because it's all like, the glass in here is like, we got to appreciate it's for liquid, so the glass is probably a 1/2 inch thick. both sides, and the thing is scheduled 900. That's why it weighs a ton. I don't know if that excites you, but I think that's really cool. But anyway, that's my goal to work on. Yes, sir.
We do have a question.
Yes.
It's taking me a minute to get it pulled up.
Can they hear you?
No.
Oh.
I want to get it exactly right. Maybe you could explain what's happening right now.
Let me explain what's happening right now. This is what we call dead silence. Now, some people will dedicate this to the hearing impaired, but I feel that it's only right that we tell you that we have glitches, you know? I mean, it's just, his microphone isn't working, the producer's mic isn't working.
Okay, how critical is the adjustment on the load block? What are the consequences, if any, of it being too lean or too rich? This is from Justin.
All right, Justin.
Repeat the question.
Yes, Justin wants to know how critical the adjustment of the load block is. That's why we recommend the tachometer, so you can watch the RPMs if you don't have a Hertz meter. We like to go by Hertz, not the kind that you get from family members, but the kind you get from a meter, you know, like a digital voltmeter. Your goal with the load block is to get it as, on alternative fuel, as lean, on the lean side of the mixture under full load. All right. So there is a window, and that's what we're going to talk about next week, about limits of flammability, rich lean. There is such a thing as stoichiometry, perfect, absolute perfect combustion, but without electronic feedback and multiple sensors, that's nearly, you know, you can't ask for that. The critical part about the load block is that it's not set too rich. And that goes back to the saying, some feel more is better. In this case, richer is not good. On gasoline, it cools the engine. On propane natural gas, it actually makes it run hotter. So what we want you to remember is keep it towards lean because it's more efficient, cool, and clean. Lean, efficient, cool, and clean. So the way we design our load blocks is, and we have customers, that brings up a point, customers want to put sealant on these threads on the load block, and it's not meant for that. We tell them, please don't do that. Do not put sealant on that. It needs to be adjusted as much as possible. Especially like if you have it on a camper and you're going to go different places, different elevations, because air pressure can affect it. Within certain ranges, it can be left alone. But if you get major swings, like last time you used your generator, was in the middle of summer, power went out, it was hot out, and you ran it and shut it down. Now it's winter and your power goes out. The air is going to be more dense. It's going to be leaner. So you want to, you know, adjust the load block. And to save fuel, it's just a great, simple little process along with your tach. Watch your tach, watch for your RPMs. If they start to drop off the max, bring it back and lock it down. And there you go. Watch your tach. You know, I love feedback. Any real technician, engineer, all you want is feedback. Look at the space shuttle. They have feedback all over. They want to know what every little valve, every little switch, everything is doing. Well, in this case, you want to know that it's turning. If your unit tachs out at 3610, you want to keep it near 3610 as much as possible. If you find out that you can richen it a little bit and it goes to, you know, was it 36.8, it goes to 36.10, hey, that's great. But yeah, the main thing is not to run overly rich. And that's where these guys who say, oh, you don't even need these engine regulators, you don't need this, you can just hook it right up to a propane tank, turn on the gas, and it'll run. And that is a fact. But don't run very long. I did it on my car. I had a beautiful Park Avenue. I drove for about a half a mile on a grill bottle in my lap, stuck it in the intake, got me up the hill because I adjusted the valve, but it was not you can't do that on a generator, just walk away from it. Any change in the governor, it needs to be adjusted. And who's going to sit there and do that? All you're going to do is burn the machine up. So it's like, yeah, it'll work. Kind of reminds me of the guy who drilled my well. He says, hey, you got 40 gallons of water. Yeah. No, he says, you got 40 gallons of water per minute. Come to find out it's for 2 minutes. It never ran dry, but it always ran out. You had to wait for it to come back. Now, how does that relate? How does that relate, Sean? I had a good segue to that. But yeah, so yeah, it will run. Look at that, I can run it, I can run this, I can run that. Yeah, and then a week later, it doesn't want to run anymore. Or the exhaust manifold is glowing cherry red. So anyway, it is important, very important. But it is, if you're going to use the word critical, critical is to keep it off the rich side. I hope that helps. And I'm sorry about the well thing. I'm still ticked off about that. Because I wanted to take a shower for an hour and I couldn't. What was his name? John? No, it wasn't John. John got the tack, right? Yes. Justin. Thank you, Justin, for your question. If you have any follow-up, please do. We love follow-ups.
Nothing coming in this moment.
Okay. You know, I can't juggle. So I don't have that ability. I can show you my toys, but hey, if you haven't seen the episode with the negative pressure on the can, that was a cool one. You got to go back and watch that. I love this can. That is so cool. And we did the sucking egg bottle. That was cool. There's no such thing as suction. I had to explain that to the lady across the street. Oh yeah, I seen that where it sucks the egg right in. No, it pushes it in. What? Yeah, pushes the egg in. You can't suck the egg in. There's nothing in there to suck something. There's only something out there to shove it. So, hey. All right, now we're getting funny. Let me see. Oh, man, can I show one of my Bernoulli cars? Oh, I love my Bernoulli cars. These things here inspired me to probably help invent the motor snorkel. Because, let me get this stuff out of the way. Yeah. Well, by the way, that's not yours, John. That's a demo unit. Whoop. Let me get the dock out of the way. That is cool. Isn't that just cool? You gotta love that. And that's from the 50s, man. The physics in this is just tremendous, which is what makes carburetors work and all this stuff. Now, here's what I always like to show, which is a lot of fun. You can do it again. You can catch your ball. Oop, no trouble, no trouble. Hold on. We'll go right back. I need more than one ball. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. I'll get it right this time. Hang with me. All right. Now, the thing about this is you can turn it off the vertical. And it'll stay up there. Well, you know, I better show that with my own version. I'm full. Whoop, dropped it again. Little trouble. I got it. See? Isn't that cool? I mean, out there, floating in space. Anyway, that's my toys. Have I killed enough time, Brian? All right. And last but not least, did you know that steel is, what did I say? It's elastic. People don't believe that. That's how it can do that. Then my producer says, what about 2 of them? I said, look at that. And what about 3 of them? I said, 4? 4 can't work. I said, you know what's cool? 5 works beautifully, watch. See it? Doesn't even make noise either. All right, I'm done. It was fun. Glad you could join us. Hope you can come. Hope you can come back next week and join us. Hopefully, we'll have our limits of flammability device up and running. I think you'll enjoy it. Again, like and hope for us on Facebook and YouTube. Tell your friends, especially if you know somebody who wants to be a dealer. You might know somebody who likes to go to fishing shows, boating shows, that kind of thing. He can set up a little booth, and I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe the crowds that gather. When we go and do something out on the road, man, people gather around, they're like, what? This is cool. So if you like explaining stuff, you know, feeling cool about it, like, oh yeah, I know stuff, man, it's like pretty cool. You know, this is it for you. So that is it for us. So I have my Human mug, which reminds all of us, be a nice human. And we will see you next week, Tuesday or Thursday, depending on the situation. Yep. Be a nice human. You folks have a great day. And thank you for being here.